Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Hope everybody had a good weekend, Memorial Day. Remember what it was all about. Hope you had a great weekend with friends and family or what have you. Got a lot to talk about today. We'll be joined here shortly by Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. Second portion of the show, we're going to have Nick De La Torre breaking down the regional here in Gainesville that cranks up Friday. Gators will be playing South Florida. Also, Miami plays South Alabama. We'll get his thoughts on the four teams in this regional, and if the Gators were to advance, what he thinks about the Texas regional, and if there were any surprises. Don't know if you've been watching hockey playoffs. It's been outstanding. I know a lot of people haven't, but I do watch hockey playoffs, and it's good stuff. There's no question about it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Gator, I know what I was going to talk about. Recruiting is heating up, and we're going to talk to Nick about recruiting as well. Also, NBA playoffs, pretty interesting. Outside, there's been one sweep, and that was the Milwaukee Bucks over the Miami Heat. Everything else has been pretty interesting. The Lakers are at 2-2. Anthony Davis is probably going to be out, so it'll be interesting to see if the Lakers can beat the Suns. But like I said, we'll be joined by Buddy Martin here in just a minute, and the second portion of the show. If you got any baseball questions, Nick does a tremendous job following the Gators in baseball. We'll also talk a little recruiting because, as I said, campuses are opening back up, and high school kids will be coming for their camps and visits and all that good stuff. So a lot of stuff happening. But as we said, college sports are coming to a close once baseball finishes up here in the next month, the end of June. And then it's basically, before you know it, it's going to be college football. And I know a lot of people are excited about that. As I said, we'll talk to Nick and get his thoughts on what's going on with the Gators in recruiting. I have not followed anything. Like I said, I think recruiting is going to take a backseat to the portal from here on out. While we're trying to get Buddy on the line here, if you missed it last night, the Wizards stay alive against the 76ers. They win 122-114. The Jazz take a 3-1 lead over the Grizzlies, 120-113. Tonight, as I said, there's some interesting games. The Nets try to close out the Celtics. They have a 3-1 lead in their series. And then a really good series out west. The Trailblazers and the Nuggets are tied at 2, as well as the Lakers and the Suns. They go today. And hockey, the Lightning, who lead the Carolina Hurricanes, 1-0 play this evening at 7:30. And I know a lot of people that listen to this show love them some Tampa Bay Lightning. And so anyway, we'll see if they can move on. We're still trying to get Buddy on the line. If you got any questions, shoot them to me here on Facebook Live, or you can text us. I got a text here on the Titan MR hotline from George. George says, what happened to the Lady Gators in softball? Man, that was very, very disappointing. Maybe I jinxed them saying that they were guaranteed to go to Oklahoma City. Give Georgia credit. Their pitcher was outstanding. Florida bats, we just couldn't hit it. And when we did hit it, we hit it right at them. And Georgia, boy, they had a power surge on us, hitting tons of home runs. They were, I think, one of the first 9-seeded teams that will be going to the Women's College World Series since like 2012. The SEC, I think, has a little bit of a disappointment. At one time, we thought maybe 5 teams, 4 of the 8 would be in OKC, but only 2 are going, Georgia and Alabama. Missouri is upset by James Madison, who actually has a pitcher who's from Gainesville High, Alyssa Humphreys. She's like their backup pitcher, but she pitched the other day. So Dan says on Facebook Live he has tickets to the Women's College World Series if anyone needs them. I guess Dan decided he's not going to go now that the Gators aren't going to be there. Do we have Buddy on the line?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Good morning, Buddy. It's Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. You can hear him Monday through Friday on Facebook Live around 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Buddy, how was your weekend, my man?
I kind of did just really much of nothing. Took care of medical things for my wife, and then I watched a lot of baseball, Major League and SEC. I probably saw all but the final game of the SEC. And then I watched the Rays. I know you don't like the Rays, but they're a good story right now. They're fun to watch. So it's making me a big league baseball fan again.
Well, it's not that I don't like the Rays. I just have a hard time watching pro baseball till it comes playoff time. It's very similar to the NBA and hockey and everything with professional sports. I'd rather just wait and watch it once the games actually matter. Buddy,
you're like most people. You're like most people, and that's the way I used to be. But I think it's a summer game, and I want to slow it down just a hair, and I know we're going to get intense here in about another 6 weeks. So I'm trying to work and watch baseball, and, it's fun to have a team that and they're playing really good baseball right now. And I get a kick out of it. They go to New York, and they play a team who's got 5 times bigger payroll. And they beat them in the first game of the series, the Yankees, yesterday, 3-1, with a long ball. It's just fun to watch. Anyway, that's what I did. I watched a movie I'm sure you've never even heard of. My wife picked it, called Julia and Julia. It's been around for a while. Surprisingly good movie. So I'm trying to kind of broaden my horizons instead of being a dumb jock that I've been,
Yeah. I got a couple of Facebook Lives brought to you by Metal Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Danny asked, Shane, do you think we need hitting improvements in softball? No, we have 3 or 4 really. This, in my opinion, because I've watched softball ever since Tim Walton's been here for his 16 years, this may have been his best coaching job, in my opinion. I think they somewhat overachieved for whatever reason. Didn't have the bats that he normally has. He had 3 or 4 really good hitters in this lineup. But, hey, that's what happens in softball, especially when you get into the playoffs. Pitching is dominant. And if you get into a slump or you hit it right at them and the other team gets a few hits, you're going to lose some games. So it was just one of those things. I don't want to call it a fluke, but, it's tough for us Gator fans to see your 3 main rivals in softball in Oklahoma City and Florida State, Georgia, and Alabama. But I still think Oklahoma's by far the best team out there. I feel like they'll win it, but you never know. As somebody gets hot, it can happen.
Yeah, I wonder about their defense. Their defense has always been great. And it's just they had a couple of games that weren't as sharp on defense as they usually are.
Well, those games, that didn't matter. That didn't matter in these 2 games against Georgia. It came down to one thing. Georgia hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They hit like Georgia 5 home runs in 2 games. So, buddy, did you get to see any of the SEC tournament? I want to get your thoughts. We're getting into regional play. I'm going to have Nick De La Torre on after you, and he's going to break down the Gainesville Regional for us and talk a little about the entire NCAA field. But what are your thoughts on how Florida played in Hoover?
Well, there were 2 Floridas, and Nick will bring it. He knows a lot about baseball. He's about the best guy around as a guest. And it seems to me that this team was rejuvenated. The pitching they got, they're hitting the ball really well. Those first 3 games they won it, and I really thought they were back. And then they kind of fell apart. I had high hopes for this team, but I've concluded that basically they were kind of a bunch of overachievers. I'm not sure how good they really were. I know they had 3 all-tournament team players, which is good. And I thought their pitching was, especially the first couple. I mean, Barco is an ace, man. He's really sharp. Left foot him out of the bullpen. And Aleman surprised me. He pitched well. So they're just missing a couple of pieces, apparently. And the grade of SEC baseball is just so high. I mean, you can't miss a beat, against those teams. And I was surprised how good Tennessee started playing toward the end of the year. I didn't see them coming, So they're in the tournament. They are 15th ranking, maybe a little low We thought about that and wondered why last night on the show. 15 sounds, maybe they were 12 or 13. An Old Dominion and some of those teams you had ahead of you, that's a little surprising. Consider the quality of play that you have in the SEC, where every week you're playing a top 10 team, and you can't have a hiccup. And Florida had a couple of hiccups. I think Sully's probably happy with the 3 wins. If you told him going in he'll get 3 wins, he probably would have taken it. I guess the good thing is they got a couple of days rest after that, but I would like to see them get to the finals and at least give Tennessee a good fight if they couldn't play either for Arkansas. I thought they had played well enough to even contend against Arkansas, but they never got a chance.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Arkansas is a machine, buddy. You go back, what is it, 2 or 3 years ago, they should have won the national title. They dropped they didn't even drop the pop-up. It was one of those, I don't remember, do you remember the game against Oregon State?
Yeah, I remember. It was a foul pop-up, wasn't it?
Foul pop-up, the right fielder, the second baseman, and first baseman all just looked at each other. They catch that. They win the national title. They end up losing. I mean, Arkansas is clearly the best team in America right now. But again, crazy things can happen out in Omaha.
Yeah. And, of course, LSU's coach resigned. He's been doing it well for a long time. And now there's rumors about who they're going to go after. Kevin O'Sullivan's name has come up about it. He was asked, I think Nick Del Torre asked him about it the other day. He, of course, just says, I'm the coach of Florida, and we'll see. But they got a lot of money in the LA's Baton Rouge. If they've proven the coaches they've hired, they want to go after him. I just don't think Sully, he's got a brand new ballpark there, he's submitted, he's got a 10-year contract, 1.2 or something. So I don't see him going. Do you?
I don't. I mean, LSU, they had about a 15, 20-year run. They've kind of been irrelevant lately. They still made the tournament this year. I don't see Sully going anywhere. I think he enjoys Florida. I think with all the homegrown talent in this state, I don't see him going anywhere. Refresh your vehicle and your brand with the vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. June is your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Speaking with Buddy Martin here on the Titan MR Hotline. Just a few more minutes with Buddy, and then we'll be joined by Nick de la Torre from Gators territory, talking Gator baseball. Buddy, you and I talked last night on your show. I know you're close to Urban Meyer. And Urban had he and Charlie Strong, they did a little piece on the wrestling the other night.
A little shtick, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it. If you haven't seen it, I saw it on Twitter, and it's what are they, AE something wrestlers? I don't know. It's not WWE.
I think it's All Elite Wrestling, and actually Alex Marvez, who works for NFL Sirius, he is their play-by-play announcer or whatever. He's a Gator. He comes on my show quite a bit, but he's the announcer.
He's come a long way from being a part-time kid at the Denver Post. I ought to say that when I was there. But nonetheless, it's a lot of money yet, obviously. But no doubt, Urban signed off on this deal. If you haven't seen it, it's a shtick. Charlie Strong and Urban are in the office. In comes 2 wrestlers. I don't know their names. I'm sorry. One's a big guy. And he's beating the crap out of the other guy. And he goes over to Urban, and Urban hands him a laptop, and he starts beating the guy with the laptop, obviously set up. And then Charlie Strong starts giving him footballs and starts throwing the football at the guy. As you pointed out last night, those sharp-pointed footballs hurt, man. And so, and I'm thinking, what is this? And at first I thought, what is Urban doing here? And then after I thought about it, I kind of liked it. He's having a little fun, he's loosening up a little bit. I would never have seen that Urban Meyer do that back when he was in Florida. So I think he's making a conscious effort. The fact that it's the owner's son probably had something to do with it, but he wouldn't be coerced to that unless he wanted to do it. And Urban has done it. If you watch this show on Fox, he did a couple of things that you would be surprised at him doing. I remember the day that those guys put the Miami turnover chain on him. He hated it, but he went through with it and played along, and he understands the show business aspect. So anyway, I think it's I think it's good to have a little fun. I talked with Urban. I guess it was Friday, he was in a great spirit, good spirit of mind, and he says he's really happy with these players. He got 100% participation in the OTAs. We had Dan Hickett on that site. All 90 guys came, and which is like Dan pointed out. Well, he's a new coach. Why wouldn't you? But still, you played in the league. You know what that's like. So, and he told me, I said, well, how are you doing? He said, I'm doing great. I love it. And he said, I'm just trying to treat them like how they want to be treated and give them what they need. And, he's become a real big players coach. And so far, it seems to be working. And even Trevor Lawrence is talking about Tebow. And I know naturally he's not going to say anything bad about him, but just the way he expressed himself with him, you can tell he really likes Tebow and likes him being there.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. You've heard some good things about Tim coming out of camp. As you said, buddy, nobody's going to say anything bad, so we really don't know. But we will find out once preseason rolls around and when it gets close to see if he can make that 53-man roster. We shall see. Dan says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal All, the wrestlers were fighting throughout the stadium. There were 10 or 12 guys going at the same time. I guess Dan's a big wrestling fan. Buddy, before we let you go here,
yeah.
Have you, I have Brent Beard, who's our college football analyst, on every Thursday. Brent's one of those guys that goes and stands at Publix until the Athlons and Lindy's magazines come out.
I'm going today.
Going. I was going to ask you if you've gotten yours yet.
No, I've had none. I leave the doctor's office this morning. I'm going by Publix to make my annual buy, and I'll be digesting it all this week.
Well, we're close to college football, buddy. College baseball is pretty much the only collegiate sport. Mm-hmm. I know there's a little golf still going on, but I guess at the end of this month, college sports will be over for 2021, and then before you know it, it'll be about 85. Probably less than that. Probably about 80 or 75 days till college football cranks up.
Yeah, and I'll be stepping up to Jacksonville and doing a little NFL. I'm going to be up there for their veterans camp when they open, at least for a day, and checking it out, see what's going on, and seeing that Tebow looks jacked. His arms look like huge. As somebody wrote on Facebook, showed his bicep, looks like about the size of my waist, which is big. Said you can tell Tim's lifting more than Bibles. He really looks big. So looking forward to that. So then, of course, we'll head on out and look for the summer to get through until that first opening day of practice, and college football will be here again.
Yes, it will be here before we know it. You'll be have SEC Media Days here pretty soon. So everybody will be excited. The swamp's going to be packed. Yeah. So, buddy, we appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy this morning. Be good, my man.
Tonight,
we'll talk to you next week.
Tonight we've got Jackie is back, and Cassidy's there, and double coverage for Zoom tonight on the program.
All right, buddy. Be good, my man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Shane. See you.
Yep. We're going to take our first time out of the program. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Nick De La Torre talking college baseball about the 8:30 segment. But in the meantime, sit back and relax. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Chomp Harder Apparel, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar, If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Regal Cinemas, Dave & Buster's, Nike, Palmetto Moon, Skechers, and coming summer of 2021, HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visors Rooftop and Tailgate Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. We're now going to go back to the Titan MR hotline, and we're going to be joined by Dr. Peter Atch. He's from QC Kinetics. He's going to heal us all, take care of all our bumps and bruises. Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Good morning. Very good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Well, first of all, let everybody know what QC Kinetics is all about.
Well, QC Kinetics is about regenerative medicine. What does that mean? That we basically treat pain, typically coming from arthritis, all types of arthritis, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid, gout, all kinds of things. And the important thing is we don't treat it with medications or surgery. There are no steroids, no narcotics, no non-steroids. We treat it with someone's own body, cells and tissue from someone's own body. And we treat it not by treating the symptom, but we're actually treating the underlying cause. And that's what makes it the best treatment that's out there.
So let me get this right. So let's just use a young baseball player who may have some rotator cuff, I don't want to say a tear, but just some soreness, some damage there. What can you guys do to avoid any type of serious type surgery or anything like that?
Yeah. We cannot treat full tear, but a partial rotator cuff tear, we treat really, really well and actually very effectively. It's a good example because we do see a lot of partial rotator cuff. I just saw 3 or 4 people yesterday, and they all responded extremely well to treatment. What we do, we inject the joint with a series of injections over 2 months period of time. It's a sequence of injections that's scientifically proven and also clinically proven. First, we inject with someone's own serum with platelets, basically a platelet-rich plasma. Then a couple of weeks later, we inject a protein called alpha-2 macroglobulin that we isolate from someone's own blood. And this protein has the ability, actually the only thing that's proven, to have the ability to stop the breakdown of the cartilage and the tissues in the joints. Then we'll use someone's own stem cells, connective tissue type stem cells from their own bone marrow that we isolate from there. And these cells, they have the ability to grow, to multiply, and also to differentiate, to become all kinds of cells. And then the fourth injection is another platelet-rich plasma. Platelets are full of growth factors, full of cytokines, these bioactive proteins, and they actually tell those stem cells what to do, what to differentiate into.
Let me ask you this. I'm a big-time golfer. I know a lot of people get what they call golfer's elbow, which is on the inside. And then I think tennis elbow is kind of on the outside. Mm-hmm. Is that something that y'all see a lot of where you can help people?
Every day. It actually very typical. We see it all the time, and it really, really works.
Yeah. We're speaking with Dr. Peter Atch right here on the Titan MR hotline. He's involved with QC Kinetics. So if you got any bumps, bruises, anything hurting, give these folks a call. The number to call is 352-400-4550. We got a couple of texts on the Titan MR text line. This comes from Danny. Danny says, Doc, how long has this procedure been around?
This procedure has been around for around 20 years. Actually, they started in horses, and they still do it in horses. Our first office here in Florida is open in Ocala, which is horse country, as we know. And most of our patients, they actually have horses, and they all know about this, and they know how well it works in horses. Then later on, it became available in pro athletes, the football, basketball, baseball players who had extremely good benefits from this, but it was very expensive. And maybe the last 4 or 5 years, it has become available for the average person like us.
We have another one here on the Titan MR text line from Allie. Allie says, what's the recovery time from the procedure? I guess it depends on what you're doing, right?
Well, procedure is an injection, so there's really no recovery. All of them, what we do is injections, the four for injections, there's really no recovery. People walk in and walk out, many times already feeling better. Most people feel better in a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, but we usually say that full regenerative process may take 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, we got another text on the Titan MR hotline from Melvin. Melvin says, are these procedures only good for athletes?
No, absolutely not. It's good for everybody with all kinds of joint problems, arthritis, could be rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, gout, and all kinds of other problems, tears, tendinitis, everybody.
So it's basically, regardless if it's a shoulder, a knee, elbow, if you got arthritis in your hands and fingers, it's all some type of injection in those areas, correct? It's all the same. Our joints are the same wherever they are. They have the same structures, same buildup, and yes, the injections are the same, and they actually come from one's own blood and own bone marrow. Yeah. What does your practice at QC Kinetics? If anyone's interested in coming to see y'all, do y'all take insurance? How's all that work? No, this procedure is what we call concierge medicine. This procedure is not covered by insurance at this point. It's not inexpensive. That's the only con, if you will, but it's way worth it if you compare it with surgery and all that. So if someone is wanting, if they have an ailment, they want y'all to look at them. Walk us through the process. Do they just call the number, make an appointment? They have to come for a consultation. How long will it take them to actually get the injection or whatever they need? We offer a free consultation for everybody. So all they need to do is call the number that you mentioned, and we'll make an appointment that week or next week, latest, whenever it's comfortable and convenient for them. And if they like what they see, if they want the treatment, we start treatment the very same day. Okay. And so the only office that you have right now is located in Ocala, correct? The first one is in Ocala. There's more coming in Summerfield and also in Gainesville. Okay. Anything that I didn't cover that you would like for all our loyal listeners to know about QC Kinetics? Well, I think the most important about this treatment that it's new. It's a cutting-edge pioneering treatment. It does work. There is more and more data, officially even from the National Institutes of Health, that show that people, even who had treatments and they failed treatments with rheumatoid arthritis, a recent study actually showed a 100% response rate to this type of treatment. It is the only medical treatment that treats the underlying cause and not the symptom, and it's also the only treatment that can help avoid surgery completely. I know what I wanted to ask. So let's say during football season, let's just say a local guy, a kid, whether they're playing in the Gainesville area, Ocala area, kid sprains his ankle really, really bad on a Friday night during a game. Depending on if it's a high ankle sprain or a regular sprain, depends on, could be a couple of weeks, could be a month. Have you had any success with injections into like a ankle sprain that allowed an athlete to come back much quicker? Absolutely. It does work. The injections decrease inflammation, and they also improve the pain threshold. So most people feel better the next day. We also use a deep tissue laser every time somebody comes, and the laser also has the ability to decrease infection. It's been shown to release some cytokines and some factors that will further improve inflammation and pain. We have the phone number, which is 352-400-4550. Is there a website that people can log on to? Yes, qckinetics.com. That's pretty simple. QCkinetics. Yep. Well, Doc, we appreciate you taking the time to join us, kind of explain to us what QC Kinetics is all about. I'm going to have to come try it out. I got a lot of ailments, Doc. Maybe you can fix all of them. Please come. We're welcome. Absolutely. All right. That's Dr. Ash joining us on the Titan MR hotline, and we appreciate him taking the time to explain to us what QC Kinetics is all about. Doc, take care, and we'll see you soon, buddy. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Yeah.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Weeby Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Rap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Darshakow Insurance, Silverback Concrete Company. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Regal Cinemas, Dave & Buster's, Nike, Le Macaron French Pastries, Kilwins, and coming summer of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and Visor's Tailgate and Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. We're now going to go to the Titan MR hotline, and we're going to be joined by Florida Gator beat writer from Gators Territory and Rivals.com, Nick De La Torre. Good morning, Nick. How are you, buddy?
Good morning. Doing well, and looking forward to a regional with a full capacity stadium, hopefully.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Before we jump into that, I want to get your thoughts on how Florida played in Hoover.
I think, I went into the last weekend of the season saying don't get swept, and they got swept. And I think the team really did a good job of whatever they said in their players-only meeting seemed to work, because they kind of rallied around each other, moved some pieces around with Matt Cassetti being back and able to catch. Nathan Hickey looked really good at third base. And then the biggest thing for me, because the team's hit all year, the biggest thing for me was you got three really quality starts from Tommy Mace, Hunter Barco, and Franco Alaman. And that's really what Florida is using Hoover for, is really just to get that pitching lineup and to get those guys working, to get them ready for regional. So I think that's the best the three of them collectively have looked all season. And if you're going to save your best performances, now's the time to, bring them out of the closet and throw them out there.
Yeah. You're a baseball guy, Nick. Is Arkansas one of the best college baseball teams you've seen in a long time? I was talking earlier in the show with Buddy Martin. They should have won the national title, was it 2 or 3 years ago, when they just couldn't decide who was supposed to catch a pop-up foul ball right kind of behind first base.
Yeah, they have a national championship if you catch a foul ball.
Yeah, exactly. So how good is this team, this Arkansas team?
They remind me a lot of the 2017 Florida team, specifically with Kevin Kopps. He reminds me a lot of Michael Byrne. Kopps throws that cutter, and it was a really cool segment they did in Hoover where he was showing his grips, and he's kind of like Mariano Rivera, where he only has 1 or 2 pitches, but just a little bit of pressure on, his index finger, his pointer finger, and it makes the ball do something different, but he still calls it the same pitch. And they kind of use him like Michael Byrne, where there could be 2 outs in the 6th inning and they say, hey, it's your time. We need you to finish out the rest of the game. So they just play the right way. Everyone runs, everyone hustles, and they just seem to have a guy in the lineup that will get that hit that you need to start a rally. I don't know if they're the best team I've ever seen. I mean, the 2016 Florida baseball team was better than 17, but they don't have any rings to show it.
Right.
But yeah, they're a really complete team when it comes to, just the fundamentals, hitting, defense. And I just don't know if they have that same frontline pitching that like a 2017 Florida had.
I think 9 SEC teams make the field. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised that I think a lot of people I was going to ask your surprises of the teams that are in there, but I think a lot of people were surprised that maybe Alabama made it.
Yeah, I think Alabama probably was a bubble team going into Hoover, and I think they did enough in Hoover to make it. I was more surprised that LSU wasn't one of the last 4 teams in, considering they were a bubble team, get to Hoover and lose. I think some of that might be just a tip of the cap to Paul Maneri, who announced that he's retiring. So I think that might be more of a nod to Paul than it is to the season that LSU had.
Speaking of LSU, we all know that they're going to come after Sully. I know he's going to say he's not interested. Any chances we lose Kevin O'Sullivan to the LSU Tigers?
I mean, sure, there's always, a chance they could offer him $1 billion. Who knows where the money comes from in Louisiana, but they seem to find it. To me, it just doesn't make sense. So back in 2016, Florida had a maybe bottom tier SEC stadium. Kevin O'Sullivan was making $650,000, which sure, I'll sign up for that for my yearly contract, but it wasn't necessarily he wasn't necessarily being compensated with how good he was doing for the program. So in 2016, the Texas job came open, and they've had 4 head coaches since 1946. So that's a job at the most storied program in college baseball history that doesn't ever come open. And he turned Texas down. Credit Jeremy Foley, who signed him to a 10-year, $12.5 million contract, made him the richest coach in college baseball. And then credit Scott Strickland for coming in and saying, no, we're not going to put a Band-Aid on McKeithen. We're going to build something brand new. So to me, I don't know what the benefit is for him to leave and go to LSU. LSU will always be Skip Bertman's program. And Paul Maneri is in the Hall of Fame and won a national championship, and it's still Skip Bertman's program. And I think Kevin O'Sullivan has, if not already become that for Florida, has the opportunity to become the Skip Bertman of Florida. And Florida's already shown that they're going to have, the financial backing, whether it's compensation or facilities, that they've got his back. So to me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. LSU's baseball fans are better, and I don't know if Florida fans want me to say that, but LSU has some of the best, craziest baseball fans in the country. They're ravenous. I mean, they just ran Paul Maneri. They just ran a Hall of Fame coach out of town. So Florida's fan base has gotten better when it comes to baseball since I've started in 2013, but still not where LSU is. But I don't know if you leave a job where you have the chance to, have your name on a stadium at some point to, because there's better fans somewhere right now.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I agree with that. And you bring up the fan base for Florida baseball, and I would put Florida, the fan base, the atmosphere, probably middle of the road, middle of the pack in the SEC. There's probably 7 schools that have a better atmosphere. Would you agree with that?
I mean, they would probably be last in the SEC West. I mean, those SEC West schools love baseball. Mississippi State, Arkansas, Ole Miss, LSU, Alabama and Auburn are probably the 2 they'd be ahead of in the West. But those other SEC West schools, it really means a lot to them. And then Vanderbilt in the East, Tennessee. Well, it's the only thing going in Knoxville right now, so they love it. And credit Tony Vitello. He got there and nobody was coming to games, and I think he went to the fraternity houses and said, hey, we're going to put you right on top of our dugout. You're going to have great seats. Come and drink and be loud. And they do that. You see that when they play at home. It's gotten better. But, I mean, in 2013, when I got here and I started covering the team, I was like, does anyone know that they're really good at baseball? So it's gotten better. And I think, we haven't really seen the whole, field of dreams. If you build it, they will come because of COVID restrictions, which is, I'm crossing my fingers with Miami being in the Gainesville Regional, a potential Saturday night matchup that you might see 8,000-9,000. But, LSU will draw 12,000 on a Tuesday when Tulane's in town. So there's just different levels to baseball fandom. And I would agree with you. Florida's probably either lower middle or upper lower in terms of, where baseball fandom is right now.
Nick, we got a text here on the Titan More text line. It comes from George. George wants to know, who's the highest paid baseball coach in college?
I'd have to look again. Jim Sloshin, I can never be able to pronounce the name. Jim Sloshingle from TCU is up there. I think it's him and Kevin O'Sullivan. So when Kevin signed in 2016, it was him. But listen, watch out. Texas A&M's got a job opening, so I might go and venture out that the team that gave Jimbo $75 million might have the highest paid baseball coach in the country here soon.
Yep. If you got joint pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back that won't go away, you need to check out QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief. Not surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. Call them today. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. Speaking with Nick De La Torre here on the Titan MR Hotline. You can follow him on Twitter at De La Torre. All right, real quick, we got a couple of Facebook Lives here. Jeff says, brought to you by Metal Law, the Florida job is less pressure than the ridiculous LSU pressure LSU fans put on their head coach. That's probably true. John says, Nick, with Miami this weekend in the regional, how does Sully set up his pitching?
I've seen him do it a bunch of different ways. I've seen him throw, a freshman who had a bunch of innings in game one. And I've seen him throw Brady Singer against like Columbia and it just overpowers him. I don't think you get cute. I think he's tinkered around with it so much that you'll see Tommy Mace at noon on Friday. And then Hunter Barco, who has looked really good the last month against Miami. And Miami's got some lefty bats, with like Del Castro and guys like that. So I think that works out well. And then you've got a decisive game 3 for you, but then you still have to beat twice. You have to get beat twice. So I think you'll have Alaman with a chance to win the regional. But to me, you've gotten to this point, you've messed around with it so much. The team and the pitchers responded. So I would expect Mace, Barco, Alaman in that order this weekend.
Were you surprised at Florida being a 15 seed?
Yeah, I think it just goes to show that there's, some conferences use the tournament, their end of the year tournaments to pick a winner. That's not what the SEC does. Whoever has the best record at the end of the season is the SEC champion. And it might be cool to win, an SEC tournament. But I think what we saw this year is that, the SEC tournament, unless you're a team that's on the bubble like Alabama, it's not going to mean much for you. People were mad because Mississippi State got run ruled in both their games. And I told them 2 games at the end of the year doesn't erase what you did for the entire season. And they're a national seed and Florida's 15. So I think it just goes to show, hey, look, Arkansas had 2 injuries. They didn't leave Hoover healthy. Florida was able to get in, win 3 games, set their pitching staff up. And did anyone want to lose Tennessee? I don't think so. But you get out of there with your pitching intact, and I don't think if Florida would have won the tournament, they would have even gotten to a national seed, which is something I thought maybe they could sneak in. So I think it just goes to show that the committee didn't put a lot of stock into the SEC tournament when it came to anyone else other than teams who needed to win a couple games just to get into the tournament.
When you look at the regional here, I think we're paired with Texas. I think they're the number 2 seed. But looking at the 4 teams here, obviously, the other 3. We've played Miami. We went 1 and 2, I believe, against the Hurricanes at the beginning of the year. I can't remember if we played South Florida at all. But what about South Alabama? Can you tell us a little bit about those teams? Do you know anything about them?
Yeah, Florida. Florida hadn't played USF. They weren't on the roster. They weren't on the schedule this year. They're not a really good team. They finished strong, won their conference, and that's how they got in. South Alabama is a team who a couple of years ago had I forget his first name, Travis Swaggerty. That's a baseball name if I've ever heard one. They're a team that they have a small park. They used to hit a lot of home runs. Now they have another great outfielder, Ethan Wilson, who has a potential to be a first-round pick in the draft coming up. Michael Sandell is another guy who's hitting over 300. Both of those guys can hit home runs, 8 and 9 between the 2 of them. And then also 22 doubles between them. And I'm still looking over their pitching staff, but those are the 2 bats that you're going to need to know from South Alabama. And it'll be interesting to see because they rely a little bit on the home run. And Florida ballparks are big ballparks, 380 in the power alleys. So it'll be interesting to see what Miami does with them. And then it'll be interesting to see how Miami decides to handle their pitching Because like I said, if you're the higher seed, there's a thought process to, hey, can we throw not one of our guys, just get by? And then, it's enticing for Kevin O'Sullivan to say, hey, can we throw Brandon Sproat to beat South Florida and then have Tommy Mace against Miami? I just don't think Sully gets cute, but that's a move a lot of these coaches make.
Yeah. So, I mean, your personal opinion, you think he throws Tommy Mace Friday afternoon?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And then game 2 would be what, Saturday evening, I believe?
Saturday evening.
If you win it?
Yeah. So the host team gets to choose the first when they want to play. And I think it's smart that Kevin I said it stinks because it's the first time you can have full capacity, and now your first game is going to be noon on a Friday. And people didn't work Monday, so I don't know if you're calling in sick on Friday to get out to the ballpark at noon. But it makes sense from the standpoint of get the game done early, avoid late afternoon rain, which I have PTSD from rain in Gainesville regionals. It's going to rain this weekend. It always does. Get the game done. And then once your first game is finished, you get to watch that second game knowing, hey, we're going to play the winner of this or we're going to play the loser. You get some live scouting done without having to worry about the game that you have coming up. So I think that's why Sully likes to play that first game on Fridays. But then if you win, it'll be a night game. If you lose, the loser's bracket plays Saturday afternoon.
Nick, I was talking to someone when I was with the Super Regionals for softball, and I'm sure they do this in baseball. When you host, you've earned the right to host.
Mm-hmm.
Why you have to switch dugouts and be the visiting team in your own ballpark makes absolutely no sense to me. Why does the NCAA do that?
It's a fairness thing. So let's say,
well, the other team should have played better during the regular season, or they wouldn't be on the road.
Sure. Well, except for because of COVID, Old Dominion's a host, but they don't have the facilities to host, so they're in the Columbia Regional in South Carolina. So South Carolina is technically hosting a regional as a 2 seed. But yeah, I agree with you, and it's because if Florida wins game 1 and let's say South Alabama beats Miami, Florida is then the away team in their second game because South Alabama will be the away team in their first game. And it's just the NCAA trying to be fair and saying, hey, everyone should have the equal opportunity to be the home and the away. But, if you're playing a neutral site game in football, who cares who the home team is? I didn't get a call the coin flip. Okay. But in baseball and in softball, it really matters. Having the last at bat or the opportunity to have the last at bat in the game is a gigantic advantage. And like you said, Florida's earned the right to host a regional. But if they play a team who hasn't had the chance to be the home team in the Gainesville regional yet, then that's taken away. Potentially Florida could play 3 games, win all 3 games, and be the home team in their stadium one time.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. A few more minutes here with Nick De La Torre. We got a Facebook Live here from John. He says, on another note, the JU Dolphins got in with a 16-32, 3-15 record in the ASUN. They got the automatic bid because they won the conference tournament. That's a pretty remarkable story there.
Yeah, they were really bad. One of those 16 wins over Florida, though. They beat the Gators. They were pretty bad all year. But hey, it's like I said about Florida. If you're going to play your best baseball, you better start playing it now. We made a little run in the tournament.
No doubt. Real quick, I want to read the This Day in Sports brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Comfort Temp is now hiring team members with all levels of experience, great culture and benefits, and opportunity for growth. $1,000 sign-on bonus for qualified positions. Call them today to learn more about the career with Comfort Temp Company. 352-376-2366. This Day in Sports in 2012. This surprised me, and you're a baseball guy, Nick. Johan Santana throws the first no-hitter in the New York Mets' 50-year Major League Baseball history when they beat the Cardinals 8-0. But they'd been playing baseball for 50-something years until their first no-hitter. That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that game. Well, I was put on to Johan when he was a twin. And then, of course, the New York teams go ahead and pay those guys. But I remember watching the end of that game. You always get like the notification on your phone. Someone's throwing a no-hitter. And I turned those on and then being shocked that was the Mets' first no-hitter in franchise history.
Yeah. Before we let you go, I know recruiting, you cover recruiting as well. It's heating up now. I think kids can come back on campus for their recruiting visits, for the camps. When does all that take place? Start today?
Today. Yeah, I'll be out there today. They're doing a barbecue. They've got kids on campus, including their quarterback commit for the next year's class. Nick Evers is in from Texas. I really enjoy it because there are like a whole class of kids didn't get to take official visits because of the dead period and because of COVID. So it's really, really cool to see just guys getting back on campus and the whole recruiting getting back going. So I'll be out there today talking to some high school kids who are pretty good at football.
So when you say you're out there today, kind of explain to our listeners real quick, like you said, they're having some kind of barbecue. So the coaches allow you beat writers to come out and talk to the kids?
Sort of. They don't want us to get in the way of things, but also they want, listen, the red carpet's being rolled out, and at the end of the day, they want the recruits to say how good it was of a vacation, of a visit, of a trip, what they learned, what they like. They want that out there. Like, hey, I want Nick Saban to know that you really enjoyed your trip to Gainesville. I want Dabo to know that you love Gainesville. So there's as it is with reporters, there's always a give and take of access and stuff like that. But I think I'll be able to get a couple guys to give me an interview today.
Good. Back to baseball before we let you go. You see any upsets in any regionals?
I mean, man, Arkansas, I think they did it right. Like, Arkansas is the #1 seed. They should be getting an easier regional. They're also a great team. I think Cohen is on the selection committee, and Mississippi State couldn't have an easier region unless their head coach picked it. And then I think Arizona's region. Oh, shoot, where are they? I forget where they are. I think they're with Florida State. They have a really tough region. I'm not sure if I'll predict anyone's. I'll look at the Nashville regional maybe, because Vanderbilt hasn't been playing their best ball of late, and I think Florida and Texas will both win theirs, and I'm looking forward to a trip out to Austin, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a good place to go. Let everybody know how they can check out all your stuff, Nick.
It's Florida.rivals.com, Gators Territories website, and you can find me on Twitter @Delatorre.
Hey, man, good stuff as always. Appreciate it. Enjoy the games this weekend. Hopefully no rain. However, the golf courses here need rain, but hopefully not during baseball.
My lawn needs rain, but not during the hours of baseball.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Take care, man.
Thanks, Shane.
That's Nick Delatorre. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Center State Bank is now South State Bank, but they still put business first. We understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State still has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, FDIC. I want to appreciate everybody joining the program today. I appreciate all the happy birthday wishes. Yes, I am now a smooth 51 years old, but I'm hitting it longer than I ever have. And it's not technology, because I play old school clubs. So still plugging away at 51. Appreciate it. Thanks for everyone listening to the program today. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Tell all your friends and family about our program. Follow us on all the different podcast outlets. Today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Be safe, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
Trying to get the fans fired up. 2nd down and 10. Matthews rolling to his right, in trouble, can't find anyone. Now he throws it for Harrison Houston, who makes the catch. He's in the open field. Harrison to the 20. They're not going to catch him. Touchdown, Gators!